Every dynasty in sports eventually runs into the same truth. Even legends are made of flesh and bone. For the Golden State Warriors, the latest reminder came in the form of a grade 1 hamstring strain to Stephen Curry, a man who has defied limits, logic, and defenders for more than a decade. Curry's injury, sustained in Game 1 of the Western Conference semifinals against the Minnesota Timberwolves, didn't come with a loud pop or dramatic collapse. It came during a quiet pivot on defense, just a split-second movement, and then something didn't feel right. Curry tried to keep going but couldn't. What followed was an early exit, a murky diagnosis, and the creeping realization that this postseason might unfold without the man who's meant everything to this franchise. Golden State won Game 1, an inspired 99-88 effort that saw their role players and veterans step up. But Game 2, without Curry's stabilizing presence, was a collapse, both tactically and emotionally. And as the team prepares for Games 3 and 4 at home, likely without their superstar, a familiar but uncomfortable question reemerges. What are the Warriors without Steph Curry? Curry described the injury in typical Curry fashion: blunt, self-aware, and just a touch sardonic. "I felt great the whole game up until that point," he said. "Then I made a little pivot move on defense and felt something. At first, he thought he could play through it. He's had ankle issues, finger sprains, shoulder tweaks, but hamstrings are different. They linger, they punish impatience, and crucially, they rob players of the explosiveness and fluidity that define them. For someone like Curry, whose game relies on constant motion, subtle shifts, and lightning-quick footwork, a compromised hamstring isn't just a physical limitation. It's an identity crisis." Now he's benched, not just for Game 2, but likely for Games 3 and 4 as well. The Warriors are down 0-2 and facing the real possibility of falling into a 3-1 hole without their centerpiece. Curry's stats this postseason: 22 points per game on efficient shooting, only tell part of the story. He's the gravitational force behind every offensive action the Warriors run. Defenses panic at his presence. Screens set for him, bend coverage. His off-ball movement forces defenders into mental fatigue. Without him, the spacing disappears, or Draymond Green's playmaking stagnates, or Klay Thompson's looks become rushed, where Andrew Wiggins fades further into the background. The bench production dries up. In short, without Curry, the Warriors don't just lose a scorer, they lose their system. Steve Kerr acknowledged this before Game 2, saying, "The guys obviously revere Steph, and they love his presence. He may come into our huddle and make a suggestion, which I always welcome. That kind of off-court presence matters, but only so much." At some point, the Warriors need points on the scoreboard, and right now, their most potent engine is in street clothes. Watching Curry try to joke about his injury, using sarcasm to cover frustration, felt like vintage Steph. But make no mistake, the emotional toll is real. The Warriors have spent the last decade leaning on his magic. When things get tight, he's always been the answer. Now that lifeline is gone. The loss was palpable in Game 2. Without Curry, Golden State trailed by 13 points before scoring a single basket. Draymond Green unraveled emotionally again, committing a reckless technical foul and berating officials. Klay Thompson forced contested shots and never found rhythm. While the team lacked urgency and cohesion, Jonathan Kuminga was the lone bright spot, scoring 18 points on 8 of 11 shooting. But asking a 21-year-old to lead a championship team in the playoffs is a stretch, no matter how talented he is. What we saw wasn't just a team missing its star. It was a team unsure of who to follow. Grade 1 hamstring strains are generally considered minor, but for elite athletes, minor can be misleading. Recovery timelines can range from 7 to 21 days, depending on location, severity, and player response to treatment. The real danger is re-injury. Hamstrings are notoriously delicate. Return too soon, and a grade 1 becomes a grade 2 or worse. For Curry, whose core value lies in acceleration, cutting, and lift, there's no safe shortcut. Hamstrings, they need time, Curry said, no matter what sort of rehab you do. He's not allowed to run, not allowed to shoot, not even stationary shooting. That's how serious this is. The Warriors must walk the tightrope of trying to win without him while resisting the urge to rush him back. But if they fall behind 3-1, the urgency to save the season might push Curry closer to risk. It's a no-win scenario. Let's not mince words. Probably not. The Western Conference is brutal. Minnesota has elite defenders, length at every position, and enough scoring to capitalize on mistakes. And Golden State without Curry looks like a 500 team. Yes, they won Game 1, with Steph logging only 13 minutes. But that win came behind a fluky Timberwolves shooting night, 5 for 29 from deep, and an emotional lift that may not be replicable. They'll need a vintage Klay Thompson game, which has been rare this season. Raymond to lead without combusting. Kuminga, Moody, and Hield to contribute at a higher level than they ever have. Wiggins to play like the 2022 Finals version of himself. That's a lot of ifs. This injury, however small, feels symbolic. The Warriors' dynasty has been defined by Curry's brilliance and resilience. He's played through sprains. And if this injury lingers into next season, or worsens, it could mark the beginning of the end. Golden State's cap sheet is bloated. Their young core is still inconsistent. And their veteran stars are aging. Curry has 2 more years left on his contract. And while he still plays at an all-NBA level, this postseason may be the most fragile one he's ever entered. If the Warriors go out early and Curry is sidelined the whole way, it'll be a painful what if added to a career filled with glory. One of the understated elements of Curry's greatness is how he leads, even when not on the court. During Game 2, he was visible, talking to players, entering huddles, giving input. The players soak it up, and it may be the only way Curry can influence outcomes for now. This matters for a team trying to hang on to its culture. Even if Curry can't score 30, his presence reminds them who they are and how they got here. We have confidence we can still win the series, Curry said. Curry said, hopefully the guys can buy me time to get back. The phrase, buy me time, might be the most important of the postseason. If the Warriors can split games 3 and 4, get to a game 5 with Curry returning, they might still have a shot. Golden State returns home for games 3 and 4, where they've historically been dominant in the playoffs. But this isn't the same Warriors team that blitzed the West from 2015 to 2019. They'll need composure, execution, and someone not named Curry to rise. Kerr may need to play younger, faster lineups. Trust Kuminga and Moody with major minutes. Let Hield hunt mismatches. Create space for Wiggins. And pray that Draymond channels his fire productively. If they can win at least one, Curry might return in Game 5. If not, the season may end with the MVP sitting, helplessly watching. Steph Curry's injury isn't just a plot twist. It's a stress test. A test of depth, culture, and adaptability. The Warriors have lived a charmed life with Curry as their cheat code. Now, they face the harsh reality of life without it. And for Curry, the man who redefined modern basketball, it's a new kind of challenge. Learning patience, accepting limitation, and hoping the team has carried for so long can carry him now. Because if they don't, the story of the Warriors may be entering its final chapter.
Hello, xin chào tất cả mọi người. Hôm nay mình sẽ hướng dẫn mọi người gấp một chú thỏ nha. Mọi người cùng bắt tay và gấp với mình nha. Đây là những dụng cụ mà mình đã chuẩn bị để mình làm nhé mọi người. Mình đã chuẩn bị một cái kéo và một cây bút dạ màu đen. Giấy hôm nay mình chuẩn bị là giấy màu tím nha. Mọi người có thể dùng giấy màu khác để làm nha. Mọi người xem qua những dụng cụ mình chuẩn bị để chuẩn bị theo mình nha. Bây giờ mọi người cùng bắt tay vào làm với mình nha. Mình sẽ gấp chéo tờ giấy lại nha mọi người. Tiếp theo là mình sẽ cắt phần thừa đi nha. Vậy là mình đã được một hình vuông như này rồi nha. Tiếp theo bên này mình cũng gấp chéo lại nha. Mình lại gấp đôi tờ giấy lại. Tiếp theo là mình tở ra nha. Phần này mình sẽ gấp vào đây nha. Bên này mình cũng gấp vào đây. Mình sẽ vuốt cho phẳng ra nha mọi người. Tiếp theo là mình sẽ gấp vào đây nha.